Women in ministry is a topic that not all people agree with. However, historically, women have been crucial aspects of the church's growth and spiritual formation. So today, and very briefly, I want to touch on 5 reasons to support why the body of Christ needs women in ministry. Number 1, women were foundational to the spreading of Jesus' message. The woman at the well was the first evangelist to Samaria after having a powerful encounter with Jesus himself, and Jesus called her for this purpose as he waited for her at the well that day. The women at the tomb, they were the first witnesses and proclaimers of Jesus' resurrection. Mary of Bethany was affirmed by Jesus himself for doing the right thing as she sat at the feet of Jesus. To sit at someone's feet was a technical expression used in ancient times to indicate the intimate relationship between a rabbi and his disciple. And so sitting at the feet literally meant being a disciple. And Paul, during his ministry, made mention of several leading women. Number 2, women have been gifted for ministry. Nowhere in the New Testament do we see that the gifts of the Spirit are gender specific. Joel the prophet spoke concerning Pentecost. In the last days, God says, I will pour out my Spirit among all people. Your sons and your daughters will prophesy, even on my servants, both men and women. I will pour out my Spirit in those days, and they will prophesy. We are living post-Pentecost, and so God has poured out his Spirit among all flesh, including women. We see in 1 Corinthians where Paul addresses both brothers and sisters when speaking of the gifts, claiming that some will perform miracles, some will prophesy, some will be teachers, evangelists, and even pastors. These are gifts distributed by the Spirit to both men and women as God sees fit for the purpose of his mission and for the building up of one another. Number 3, both men and women genders are made in the image of God. As we look at the creation of humanity, we see that God gave both men and women equal responsibility to bear his image, having dominion and rule over creation and to be fruitful. In being made in the image of God, we see the fullness of God's personhood being expressed in both masculinity, but also in femininity. God affirms this when he uses female-specific imagery when relating to his people. Watch this. A bear to her cubs, Hosea 13:8. An eagle hovering over her young, Deuteronomy 32:11. A mother comforting and weaning her child, Isaiah 66:13 and Psalm 131:2. A nursing woman, Isaiah 49:15. A woman in labor, Psalm 131:2. And Jesus compares himself to a mother hen in Matthew 23:37. You see, we were created to be reflections of God, to speak and to act for him in our distinctions. Number 4, women need women voices. Men and women are different, both having different experiences and different needs. Both voices are needed in leadership to help guide and pastor both genders to be able to speak into gender-specific situations, interpretations, and emotions. Female perspectives are necessary to speak into issues that men cannot relate to and just don't have first experience in. I know this firsthand as various types of abuse are part of my testimony, and I did live the life of a single mother for several years, and there were and still many situations in my life where I have to make serious decisions or get counsel, and I need those from another woman. Number 5, when women are empowered, society as a whole flourishes. On a global scale, women are among the most oppressed people. Here in the United States, we may not see that on a daily basis with our own eyes, but in many countries, women have no rights to society. They are sold like cattle, they are forced into sex slavery, and some are not even allowed to show their face in public. However, organizations like UN Women and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, among many others, have reported studies that show how much of a vital contribution and even a complete shift in society women make when they are educated and empowered. There are hundreds of statistics out there that prove that women's equality is necessary for human flourishing. When women are empowered, everyone wins. If this is true on a grand global scale, wouldn't it be true for our church as well? If women are empowered, celebrated, and given the opportunity to exercise their gifts as the Lord intends, imagine what it can do for the global church, God's kingdom on earth as he has intended, a glorious, united, and beautifully vibrant people.